Hello and welcome to Firstpost Spotlight, where we bring you stories that matter to you from all across the world. From breaking news to the day's biggest controversies, we shed light on issues that shape our world. I'm Alison LaGrange, live from Durban, South Africa. Let's begin with the top headlines. The UN's nuclear watchdog chief, Rafael Grossi, says the agency's inspectors are back in Iraq following its 12-day war with Israel in June. American firms are eyeing Pakistan's oil and gas for exploration, says the US envoy to the country. This as Islamabad seeks to strengthen energy ties with Washington. French, German and Polish leaders head to Moldova in a show of support ahead of the pro-EU country's parliamentary elections next month, amid claims of Russian interference. The Maldives is set to lift a decades-old ban on the fishing of sharks, says the president's office, citing it as a significant source of income. And spinner R. Ashwin announces retirement from the Indian Premier League after featuring in 16 of its 18 editions. He says he now wants to explore leagues around the world. Hello and welcome. We begin today in South Asia, where the United States' 50% tariff on India has officially come into effect. US President Donald Trump had imposed an additional 25% tariff on India earlier this month, citing New Delhi's purchase of Russian oil, escalating tensions between the two major democracies. With this 50% tariff, India, one of America's strongest partners in the Indo-Pacific region, now finds itself among the countries paying the highest US duty rates in the world. Donald Trump has imposed a similar tariff rate on Brazil and China. But he has raised tariff on New Delhi as a part of his campaign to end the conflict in Ukraine. The decision now puts at risk nearly $87 billion worth of Indian exports to the United States. India ships a wide range of products to the US, including those from labor-intensive sectors like textiles and apparel, diamonds, gold, gemstones and jewellery, machinery and mechanical appliances, agriculture, meat and processed food, shrimps, handicrafts and carpets, leather and footwear industry, and furniture, bedding, as well as mattresses industry. Now, these sectors are employing millions, and some even form the backbone of India's export economy. Experts reportedly estimate tariff hikes could affect nearly 55% of India's $87 billion in exports to the US, while benefiting competitors such as Vietnam, Bangladesh and China. Some of these sectors are already seeing a cut in orders from their US clients. Analysts predict that the US tariff would most likely slow India's GDP growth by approximately 0.2 to 0.4 percentage points in the fiscal year 2025 to 26. It will also put hundreds of thousands of jobs at risk across manufacturing hubs in the country. As per the Global Trade Research Initiative, a New Delhi-based think tank, US tariffs will likely slash India's exports to $49.6 billion in the fiscal year 2026.
The share of US as destination market for India's global exports is very high in some of the sectors. These will be affected mostly. For example, for diamond, gems and jewelry or gold jewelry, the share of US is about 40% in India's global exports. So till now, the products were going to US at 2 to 3% tariffs. Now suddenly more than 50% tariff will be applied on them, 2-3% plus 50%, 52-53%. So they will be totally outpriced. So competitors from say Thailand and many other countries, they will be replacing most of the Indian exports.
But not all Indian exports are affected by Trump's 50% tariffs. About 30% of India's exports will reportedly remain duty-free in the US market. These included pharmaceuticals, electronics, IT products, and petroleum products. Besides, a US Customs and Border Protection notice to shippers provides a 3-week exemption for Indian goods that were loaded onto a vessel and in transit to the US before the midnight deadline. Now, New Delhi has been in firefighting mode ever since the tariffs were announced. On India's Independence Day, Prime Minister Narendra Modi made a promise to cut taxes to mitigate their economic impact. He has also urged for self-reliance and on purchase of locally made goods. Prime Minister Modi said that a Diwali gift in the form of a massive tax bonanza was on its way for Indians and the millions of small businesses that power Asia's third largest economy. He has since repeated these comments at many other public addresses. Reports also suggest that the government is also encouraging exporters to diversify to markets such as China, Latin America, Africa, and West Asia. Besides, diplomatic efforts to secure a relaxation of US tariffs have so far brought no breakthrough. So while the US tariffs pose a clear challenge, India is moving quickly to limit the damage. As Asia's third largest economy and the world's fastest growing, India enters this dispute from a position of strength, not weakness. The Trump administration is reviving a long-dormant immigration check, a move that could hit legal immigrants, particularly Indians, in the US. A Department of Homeland Security memo reveals neighborhood checks are back and are applicable to all US citizenship applications. Under this system, immigration officials can now visit neighbors, employers, co-workers, and business associates to verify an immigrant's residential addresses since entering the US, their good moral character, and commitment to the US Constitution. Now, this means that neighborhood testimonies could determine who gets the US citizenship and who doesn't. The process had been dormant since 1991. But the Trump administration says that these checks would be crucial to meet legal requirements and strengthen national security. Immigration advocates warn this could slow applications and create new hurdles for long-time legal residents. Indians who apply for naturalization in large numbers are expected to be most impacted, with applications facing more scrutiny and longer delays. To begin naturalization, the process of becoming a US citizen, one must first have a green card, permitting permanent residency and work in the US. Over 1 million highly skilled Indians are currently waiting for green cards. With the return of neighborhood checks, even green card holders may face additional hurdles on the road to citizenship. The Trump administration suggests submitting letters from neighbors and associates early. This may speed up approvals, but many fear that this will still create backlogs. And this comes alongside other recent immigration measures, including reviews for anti-Americanism and social media checks. At the same time, the Trump administration is also reviewing the records of more than 55 million US visa holders for deportable violations of immigration rules. The State Department recently said that all foreign nationals who hold valid US visas are subject to, quote, continuous vetting, unquote. As the US Immigration Agency updates its policy manual, legal immigrants, especially from India, are watching closely. The path to US citizenship just got more complex. And moving on to some updates from northern India, where heavy rainfall has ravaged Jammu and Kashmir, causing flash floods and landslides. The severe weather has claimed at least 35 lives so far. The deceased include at least 30 pilgrims who were struck by a landslip on the Vaishno Devi temple route. Stones, boulders and rocks came hurtling down, hitting a point which is about halfway along the 12-kilometer trek. It starts from the Katra city and leads to the top of the Trikuta hills where the temple is located. The tragedy has suspended pilgrimage to the famous Hindu shrine. The deadly landslide came a day after a cloudburst hit the Doda district, killing 4 people and damaging close to a dozen houses. In Jammu, the rains have swollen almost all water bodies. Water rapids have damaged over 24 houses and bridges and have submerged several low-lying areas and roads. The government has launched a large-scale rescue operation. Multiple central agencies have been deployed to carry out evacuations. The Indian Army has launched extensive humanitarian assistance and disaster relief operations. The border forces and district administration are involved in relief operations, and local volunteers have also been deployed. Civilians are being evacuated from the flood-hit areas, and helicopters and boats have been deployed to carry out evacuations. More than 3,500 residents have been shifted to safer places so far. But the trouble could be far from over. The Meteorological Department's forecast paints a grim picture, with very heavy rainfall predicted for the next 40 hours. The water levels in key rivers like the Bansantar, the Tawi and the Chenab are already at the alert mark. More rainfall could lead to intense flooding, and the government has advised people to stay away from riverbanks and flood-prone areas. The government has also ordered the closure of all educational institutions and offices. Only essential services and departments related to law and order are functional. The rainfall has also disrupted power, water, and mobile services in some parts, and train services and flight operations in Jammu and Kashmir have also been impacted. Landslides in multiple locations have disrupted traffic movement on highways.
2 दिन से बहुत बारिशें हुई हैं, उसकी वजह से जम्मू श्रीनगर जो है हाईवे है, काफी जगह पे लैंडस्लाइड्स आई हैं, काफी जगह पे शूटिंग स्टोन चल रही हैं.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has expressed grief over the deaths, calling the incident saddening. Prime Minister Modi offered condolences to the families of the victims, and he said that his government is providing assistance. Meanwhile, Home Minister Amit Shah took stock of the situation from Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, Omar Abdullah, who said that the situation in many parts of Jammu was quite serious and that he will personally monitor the developing situation.
इस बात का अफसोस है कि लगभग 29 या 30 लोग जो है अपनी कीमती जानें खो गए. कुछ जिलों में हालत थोड़ी खराब ही रही, खासकर जो निचले हमारे जिले हैं, सांबा है, कठुआ का निचला इलाका है, जम्मू का निचला इलाका, उधमपुर. मैंने अभी फौरी तौर आपके सामने टेलीफोन पे वजीर आजम साहब से बात की, उन्हें हालात के बारे में बाखबर किया, और जो NDRF की टीमें एयरपोर्ट पर तैनात हैं उनके लिए उनका शुक्रिया किया, और उन्होंने मुझे यकीन दिलाया कि जम्मू कश्मीर को और यहाँ के लोगों को जितनी भी मदद की जरूरत होगी, मरकज की हुकूमत की तरफ से तमाम मदद जो है वो हमें हासिल.
The flood fury has also hit other parts of northern India. In Himachal Pradesh, devastating floods struck the tourist town of Manali. Floodwaters swept away shops and caused several buildings to collapse. The swollen Himalayan rivers have flooded areas of the downstream states, including Punjab, and the overflowing water bodies have inundated villages and vast farmlands. Flash floods hit parts of Punjab, while in Arunachal Pradesh, landslides have disrupted traffic on highways. Now, the Meteorological Department has issued a series of warnings across northern Indian states, and the authorities in all affected regions have urged citizens to exercise caution. And finally, shifting focus to Thailand, a Buddhist monk famed for his charity work in the Southeast Asian country was arrested on charges of misusing donations meant to build a hospital. Now, the Thai authorities have accused the monk, Luar for Alongkot, of embezzlement, dereliction of duty and money laundering. A second suspect who raised funds for the monk's hospice project was also detained. Footage from Thailand's Central Investigation Bureau shows both suspects during their arrest with faces blurred. The 65-year-old Alongkot was disrobed before he could be formally charged, which is a legal requirement in Thailand. A Thai investigation official said that the monk initially cooperated and understood the difference between Buddhist discipline and legal procedure, and the official added that the arrested monk had done things that helped people, but also actions that were illegal.
Initially, the monk cooperated well with the police and was willing to be disrobed without force. He understood the difference between Buddhist discipline and the legal process. I told him that he did things that benefit people and other things that were illegal, and he had to face the consequences.
Alongkot resigned last week as the head of a community of monks at a temple south of Bangkok, after weeks of speculation about possible donation mismanagement. The Thai authorities also made searches at the temple where Alongkot headed a community of monks. The officers said that they documented records and assets linked to the charity project. Now, the hospice, founded by the arrested monk in 1992, has been credited for being pioneering, providing care for people living with HIV and AIDS at a time when retroviral treatments were limited in Thailand. As the need for HIV-specific care diminished, Alongkot had expanded the facilities to help people with other serious illnesses. But in recent times, the monk faced accusations of embezzling money, forcing Thai authorities to begin investigation and consequently make the arrests. Reports in the Thai media say the top Thai police official briefed the acting Prime Minister about the case. The case strikes at the heart of one of Thailand's holiest institutions, with money involved reportedly stretching into many billions of baht. Now, the arrested monk denies any wrongdoing, but the investigation is still ongoing. For many in Thailand, the case reflects the complex balance between charitable intent and legal accountability. For a monk who once symbolized compassion and humanitarian care, his arrest and disrobing marks a stark turn, leaving millions in Thailand to wrestle with the questions of faith, ethics, and the law. And that's all we have on the show for today. We will see you again tomorrow at the same time. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to Firstpost.